Hi everybody, I'm Matt Posner. This is my partner Tommy Alexander. We're the Irregulars on the sportsmansdaily.com. That's a new show that's going to be coming to you soon. We already do a Facebook show, but we're going to be starting to do some stuff on the Sportsman's Daily, bringing it back to life.
Absolutely.
Some great stuff on the Sportsman's Daily. It's mostly been a parody site.
Yeah, satire. Right?
Satire
Yep.
of the sports world, which is... Everybody loves to make fun of the sports world.
Well, it's very easy to make fun of the sports world, Matt, and we've been doing it since 2006. And then last year, we sort of put the site asleep for a while, though it's accessible at sportsmansdaily.com. But we just sort of said, you know what, 2017, we're just going to kind of chill out for a while and just survey the landscape and see what might be next. And the truth of the matter is that so much is quote-unquote fake news. We made money off of it for 10 years, and now it's fake. You can't make the distinction.
Right.
You know, what's fake and what's not.
What's not.
So
exactly.
that's part of the reason why we actually put the site to bed for a while. But we've decided that we're going to try to come back in a bigger, different way. There'll still be that satirical sensibility to the site, but there's going to be a lot of other things.
So like one of those stories that would happen on the site would be this story, breaking news out of Miami this morning.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, well, the check didn't clear Loria's account for the Marlins. And he's taking the team back.
Oh, he's taking... Oh, wonderful.
So they're gonna bring Stanton back. They're gonna bring all the players back.
Oh, so everything is null and void.
Everything is null and void.
I see. Okay.
They're gonna undo everything that Jeter did.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something. Talk about a guy that's very funny, and I'll tell you. Talk about a guy that has went from legend, hero, loved, beloved guy
in New York. In New York. See,
Darren's,
he wasn't loved down here.
right.
This is not. See.
Well, I wouldn't say. Here's what I would say.
Go ahead.
A caveat on that. There's a lot of Yankee fans down here in South Florida, as you well know. It's often called the sixth borough down here,
Yes.
right? Sixth borough.
Of course,
But,
I use that reference all the time.
yeah, and it very much is. But to Marlins fans and any other sports team fans that are living down here, Jeter was not beloved.
No,
but
he wasn't.
But and now I'll tell you, man, the Marlins fans they want his head on a plate. It's not it's pretty bad stuff.
And part of the problem, there was a local group that had the money.
Yes, they claim to have
had the money and ready to go.
Right.
And yet, Major League Baseball decided that an ex-New York Yankee and a guy from New York should own the Marlins with no ties to South Florida.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, here's the thing, though. Listen, to be fair, and I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree with that.
But does an owner have to have ties to a city?
No, because there's not at all, really. I mean, we've got a lot. Right.
I mean, Stephen Ross owns the Dolphins, and he's a New York guy.
Right. He's a New York guy.
Mickey Harrison owns the Heat. He's a South Florida guy.
Right. And who is it? Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban owns the
Dallas Mavericks, and he's not a Texas guy. Where is he? I think Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's it doesn't really make a difference. But I think in Jeter's case, he's so tied to the Yankees. That it's a little.
But as much as he's tied to the Yankees.
Yeah.
He really has distanced himself from the Yankees. He only has been back one time since he retired, and that was when his plaque in the
in the wall, the Monument Park.
Monument Park.
Yeah.
When his plaque was unveiled, and he went back for that,
right.
And really has no desire to go back, really.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
here's one of the few guys in sports today that started his career and ended his career with the same team.
That rarely happens.
Happens today.
Yeah.
Now here's another story that's probably breaking right now.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw the story last night. The Houston Rockets and the Celtics played with two officials.
Oh, I know. I thought you were going to talk about the comeback.
Well, there was a great comeback.
Yeah, 26-point deficit.
But for the next Houston Rockets Celtics game that the two teams played, they're going to use 4 officials.
Oh, 4 officials to compensate? I see. Okay,
see,
is that how that works?
How that works.
All right. Well,
again, breaking news.
Breaking news. I'll tell you something. It's here's the thing.
Yes.
You've got a team like the Celtics, which has a history.
Yes, big history.
A long time history. And then an up and coming team. I mean, Houston's won a championship or two. But
One.
is it one?
I think it was one.
Well, just the one with Ralph Sampson?
Yeah, no, with Olajuwon.
Well, Sampson was on that team too, wasn't he?
I think
he was on
so.
the '86 team, right?
Might have been.
I think he was. But
Who
anyway,
did they beat?
the Celtics.
I thought they beat the Knicks.
No, I think they beat the Celtics.
I'm gonna have to double check that.
You'll have to look at. We'll have to look that up. We'll
that
get
up.
our crack staff
Working
producers
on
looking
that.
at it right
Who
now.
did the Houston Rockets beat in the playoffs
Yeah.
to win their championship?
Yeah, but you're talking about a team that has this great history with
Yes.
the Celtics.
Great
And-
history.
And you know what? I think we may be seeing a little bit of a rebirth of the Celtics dynasty. I don't have a
Well,
feel.
yeah, but you know what though? Look, they had their run in the '70s, late '60s, '70s.
Right.
Then they had a little bit of a lull.
Yeah, and then
They-
Bird came.
Then Bird came, and McHale and Parrish and all those guys,
Danny
and then
Ainge.
Johnson and Ainge, and they had their other run.
Right.
Then they had a little bit of an off.
Yeah.
Then they
Well,
then,
it is cyclical. I mean.
then they did the Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett,
Yeah.
Paul Pierce,
Yep.
right?
Right.
And they won a title with those guys.
Right.
So here they are back. Kyrie Irving is the face of the team,
Yep.
which is what he wanted, and he's got some good young talent around him. Horford is playing some of his best basketball.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a nice young Celtic team. Hayward, very unfortunate injury. Everyone, but here's the interesting thing: everybody thought that when Hayward went down,
That was it.
That was it. They went on a 14-game winning streak.
I know.
After that, that was unbelievable.
Let me ask you, how do you think that makes a guy like him feel? It's like, well, I guess
I
don't
think
really
no,
need him.
actually no. I would think that would make the guy feel really good that his team didn't cave in because he went down.
But they're also, I hear you, but they're also, if you're a great team player, that should be the reaction.
Okay, so it's the NBA. So guess what? That's probably not the reaction.
Yeah, he's probably thinking to himself,
They don't need me.
they don't need me,
The
and now my
chemistry is-
stock just went down.
Right,
and-
the chemistry is fine without me.
yeah.
Because really, what would the chemistry be with him on the floor? Because he's got to get his shots in.
Right.
He's a shooter.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's got to handle the ball.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He's got to get his time.
Absolutely.
And how much is that? Look, we all see what's happening in OKC with those three,
Right.
with Paul and Melo and Westbrook.
Yeah.
And they've now decided that Melo has to really accept his role
Yeah.
and play a brand of basketball that he's not accustomed to playing.
Right.
And they've already, since they came out with it,
Yeah.
they're already playing better basketball.
Yes, and isn't he the third option on that team?
He should be the third option.
He should be, right?
Yes.
Is he?
Yes.
He is.
Yes.
Okay. So there you go. I mean, listen, can you imagine, can you ever think about that? Can you imagine how great OKC would have been had they kept Harden and had they kept Durant?
Oh my God, forget about it. That would be the team.
That would be the unbeatable.
That would be unbeatable.
Yeah.
Harden, Westbrook,
And Durant.
and Durant.
And they had all three.
They had all three of them. Yes, they did, and they couldn't keep them.
They couldn't keep them.
Yeah, look, Kevin Durant wanted out of OKC in the worst way.
Yeah. And was it because of Westbrook?
I think it was a.
It was a contributing
I
fact.
don't think he liked Oklahoma City. I don't think he liked the city because they had the money to pay him.
Right.
I think the Westbrook thing got under his skin a little bit, and wasn't a good, but I don't think that he liked Oklahoma City.
And what about Harden?
I think Harden just wanted to get out of there too. I don't think guys. I mean, think about it. Oklahoma City.
Yeah, it's not exactly
It's
a
not exactly
destination.
it's in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
The Houston Rockets won in 1994 and 1995.
94 and 2 years. And who they beat? They beat the Knicks 1 year.
Let's see.
They beat the Knicks 1
I
year.
Yeah.
didn't know that. Did you?
Yeah, they beat the Knicks, right. It was
The
the
Knicks.
Knicks.
And this, yeah,
And then
that was the Patrick Ewing team.
Yes, that
With
was
Oakley and those
and that
guys.
was the night we were watching. Everybody was watching the game, and then OJ decided to make his run in the Bronco.
Yes.
That was that was a surreal moment because I remember sitting there watching the game, and then all of a sudden they split screen at an NBA Finals game, and you're watching a slow chase on a freeway, with a white Bronco, and it's just like, am I like hallucinating here? What is this?
Crazy.
Yeah, it was just surreal.
It was.
Even the ball players were watching.
It
They're
was-
like, everybody stopped and they're looking up at the jumbotron.
a bizarre moment in not in history.
In history.
In history.
Where sports worlds collide and intersect, and yet the one thing, even though it featured a prominent sports figure, it had nothing to do with sports.
Nothing to do with
What was
sports.
the other thing where they played some sort of cartoon on the NFL, and it was called the something?
Oh, the Heidi Bowl.
The Heidi.
The Heidi.
Yeah, the
Bowl.
Heidi Bowl. Yeah, that was right. That was a big deal. I think it happened in 1968, and it was the finish of a big game. And I want to say the Oakland Raiders were in the game.
Yes.
And I'm a little sketchy on all the details, but NBC, I believe it was, decided to run Heidi, which was a family kid movie.
The game wasn't over.
And the game wasn't over yet, and of
Yeah.
course it ended in dramatic fashion.
Yeah.
Nobody saw it because
Nobody.
they were watching,
Heidi.
Yeah, it was.
Because the NFL, look, it just goes to show you where the relevancy of the NFL came from back in the day, where people really, a children's show was more important
Yes.
than the outcome of the game.
And it really, to me, when I think of the NFL, I think of the 70s. I think that's sort of when it started, because now you had the two leagues came together. It was they weren't going to split again. It wasn't an the experiment was over.
It was over. It was done.
They were together.
Right.
And you didn't.
No, it was a great time. Look, the Dolphins had that great run in '72 and going undefeated. You had some great Cowboy Pittsburgh Steeler games.
That was, to me, that made it. The Cowboy and Steelers rivalry
was unbelievable.
That set
It
the
was
tone
phenomenal.
for everything.
The Minnesota Vikings had a great team in the early '70s.
Right. I got to stop doing
The
this.
Purple People
I'm
Eaters.
getting the word to not do this anymore. I have a tendency to cross my arms, but I won't do that anymore. I'll keep them down here.
But if you keep them down here, then we wonder if something's going on.
Oh well, yeah, you can't have that either. No.
What are you doing there?
I'll go like this.
Hey, jazz hands!
I don't know what to do with my arms.
Anyway, so that's it for the irregulars. Just a little taste of some of the things that we'll be talking about and some of the topics that we'll be addressing.
On the Sportsman's Day.
On the Sportsman's Daily. The
Yeah.
irregulars on the sportsmansdaily.com.
There's the logo right there.
And we'll be doing some great programming. We'll have some fun stuff. We'll do some man on the street stuff. We'll go out to some stadiums and interview the fans. Do some cool things.
Hey, all about it.
All about it. So, the Sportsman's Daily. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Matt Posner.
I'm Tom Alexander.
And Happy New Year, and we will see you next time.
Ciao.